All right, hello everyone. I'm Sarena. This is a Yoga for Beginners sequence. We're going to do the moon salutation today. So we'll start off in a comfortable seat and then we'll get up and moving around in a moment. I have a couple of yoga blocks here. If you do not have yoga blocks at home, you might not need them. You would need them for a lunge or a half split like this. We're going to do those shapes. You don't necessarily need the blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks at home, you could use tissue boxes or like macaroni boxes or something that's generally this kind of shape that won't collapse if you put a little bit of pressure onto it. You don't want to put too much anyway. So find your comfortable seat, cross-legged or on your knees, something that allows you to lift up tall through the spine. Relax the shoulders back and down, and just close your eyes, start to look inward. Checking in with your body, with your breath. Notice if your mind is busy with thoughts. If it is, just try and let those fade away, focusing on the here and now with the sensations in the body and the pace of the breath. Let's work a little bit on that breath now. Bring the arms out to the side, palms up. And as you inhale, reach the arms to the sky. As you exhale, let the arms float back down by your sides. And that's all there is to it. Just inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, drop the arms down. So do this a couple more times at your own pace, letting the breath decide when the next stage of the movement starts to happen. And then the next time your arms come up to the sky, just pause there, reaching up. And then interlace your fingers, turn the palms up if that's okay, and your wrists. If not, you can leave the hands down. Stretching the palms up if that's available. And then reaching high, drop the shoulders down and start to stretch side to side. Take it from one side over to the other. It's back and forth, waking up through the shoulders and the side bodies, stretching those muscles around the ribs. And then come to center, keeping the hands interlaced like this. Drop them down in front of you and around through the back, getting that cat stretch. You're reaching the hands forward, or you're reaching the upper back behind you, rounding and tucking in through that front body. And then inhale, lengthen up, reach the hands up overhead, lengthen the spine, and then separate the arms. Elbows come into cactus, draw the shoulder blades on the back and lift and open through the heart. And inhale, lift up. Interlace the hands, turn the palms up again if you can, and then side to side. So just one more time with that same little sequence, back and forth a few times. And then keeping the hands interlaced, drop them down in front of you, rounding through the back, drawing that belly button in and up. And then take a big inhale as you lift up tall, reaching the hands up. And then separate the arms into cactus. Draw the shoulder blades together, lift up through the heart. And then inhale up. And hands come down to heart center. All right, let's take the right leg out and the left foot in. I'm trying to mirror you here. Walking the sit bones back. Flex your right foot, toes up to the sky. And lengthen up tall through the spine. So as we come forward, try not to round and collapse like the cat. Instead, say lifted and tall like the cactus. So walking forward. And you come forward to the point where you feel the stretch in your body. It might stop here if you feel that stretch in the leg. Pause there. Maybe as you breathe, you can go deeper into it. Or maybe you're super flexible and you can come way down here. Doesn't really matter. What matters is you feel the stretch in your body. Try and keep your foot flexed if you can remember. Try and keep your shoulders relaxed. From here, we're going to walk the right hand over to the right foot If you can't reach the foot, no problem. Just bring your hand to your shin or wherever you can comfortably reach. We're going to bring the left arm straight out in line with the shoulder. And then just like you're opening up a window, lift and lean back. Roll back from the shoulder. Shine the heart up to the sky to see how far back you can go, how much you can lift. Taking deep, full breaths here into all that space through the front side of the body. From here, we're going to turn this into a side stretch. So just stay in this shape, but turn your left palm up to the sky. And we're just going to draw an arc up and over in the direction of that foot. You probably won't reach it, that's okay. Just reaching in that general direction, but keeping this heart open. If it's too much to have the arm in the air like that, you can always modify by dropping the arm behind your back instead. Take one more breath wherever you're at. And then with an inhale, lift back up through center. And then take it to the other side. Left leg out, right foot comes in. Walk your sit bones back so you're even through both sides. Lift up through the spine. Flex through your left foot. Try and keep it flexed through this whole thing if you can remember. Lengthen up tall. We're folding just right in the middle. Lifting up. Trying to keep a bit of openness across the heart as though you're doing that cactus pose. So opening the heart, hinging down, walking down until you feel that stretch. Ideally, we want to feel it in the back of the thigh. You might also feel it in this hip if you're tight there. But if it's all dumping into the low back, then I want you to stay pretty high and just focus on flexing that foot. Coming down to your edge, breathing into it. And then from here, start to walk your left hand over to your left foot or your left shin, whatever you can reach. Right arm straight out in line with the shoulder. We're just lifting up and leaning back. Roll the shoulder back, open the heart, reach out through those fingertips. Deep, full breaths here. So to turn this into the side stretch, nothing really changes through the torso. We're just going to flip that right palm to the sky and reach the arm up and over, keeping all that openness across the heart space. If that strains your shoulder or your back for any reason, just drop the arm behind your back, but you're still arcing over in the direction of that foot, still rolling back through the shoulder. And then inhale, lift back up. And release. I'm going to come to hands and knees. And bring the hands right under the shoulders, knees right under the hips. Moving through a couple of cat and cows, moving with the breath. On the inhale, lift the head, lift the tail, let the belly drop down toward the floor. On the exhale, tuck the chin in, tuck the tail under, pull the belly up, rounding through the back. Couple more times, forward and back at your own pace. And then come back to a neutral spine. We're going to extend the right arm out to the side. It's not forward, just out to the side. And it's that same kind of motion like we just did lifting up. Start from the belly. Think about moving your belly button toward the right. And then as you move the belly button toward the right, the spine twists and the arm lifts as an expression of where the spine is in space. Keep pressing down into that left hand, reaching up through the right fingertips, breathing here. And then release. Dropping that hand down, spread the fingers wide on the mat. Extend your left arm out to the side. Just start with it straight out from the shoulder. So we're not cranking that arm up. If we do that, we don't get much twist through the spine. So just keep that arm in line with the shoulder. Start the twist from the belly button. Move the belly button toward the left. that belly button to the left, the more naturally that arm just lifts. Keep pressing into that right hand. Keep breathing, smooth and deep. And then gently release. All right, take a couple more cat and cows. And then come back to neutral. We're going to do that just one more time. Pressing down into that left hand. Make sure those fingers are spread wide. Right arm reaches straight out from the shoulder. Start the twist from way down low, down from the belly button. Belly moves toward the right. And arm just lifts as the spine twists. Pressing into the left hand, reaching up through the right fingers. And one more breath here. And then release. Right hand down. Left arm straight out from the shoulder. Move the belly toward the left. The spine twists and that arm just lifts as the spine moves. And then gently release. Bring the left hand down. And moving around cat and cow or side stretch. Whatever movement feels nice here. All right, so from here, we're going to transition up to a forward fold. If you can, tuck the toes, start to walk back, and lift the knees, come up onto your toes. If this is too deep of a stretch on your knees, the next pose is forward fold, so you can just stand up and then meet us in our forward fold. But if you can, this is a this is a version of a squat where the heels are lifted, you're up on the toes, the knees are wide. You can sink the hips back, folding low. Take another breath here. And then start to draw the knees together, drop the heels down, lift the hips, and there we are in our forward fold. And then from here, come to a half lift. Bring fingers to the shins, press into the shins, reach the crown of the head forward, lengthening. Exhale, fold. One more time, half lift, lengthen through the spine. And this time, bring the hands behind you, just reaching those fingertips long. Bring a little bend into the knees and then sweep high, reaching up. And then bring hands down to heart center. All right, we're going to do a half salutation with a chair pose and some other fun stuff. So, inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Let's add on cactus arms, bend the elbows and lift the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive down, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Now we're going to find chair pose. Bend your knees, sit the hips back, reaching the arms up. Try and keep the knees back behind the toes. Lift up your toes if you can, at least make them light. So in chair pose, the weight kind of comes back toward the heels. As we stand up, we're going to shift the weight forward to the balls of the feet, come up onto the toes, reaching up into palm tree, a bit of balance here. And then drop the heels and release the arms. One more just like that. I'm just going to turn this way. It doesn't matter which direction you're facing. Find your mountain pose. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And bend your knees, chair pose. Bring the weight back to the heels, reaching the arms up. They don't have to be real high. You can drop them down if that's more comfortable on the shoulders. But focus on bringing that weight back into the heels. And then as we straighten the legs, bring the weight forward to the balls of the feet and stand all the way up on the toes if you can. Palm tree, reaching high, keeping the shoulders relaxed. And then drop the heels and release the arms. Roll out the the shoulders a couple times, shake out the legs. Okay, all right, so this is where I'm gonna use the blocks. You can use blocks, tissue boxes, macaroni boxes, or nothing at all. So coming to the short end of your mat, the top of your mat, bring the big toes together or feet hip distance apart. Just try to avoid turning the toes out to the sides. Bring the toes a little closer together than the heels are. Root down through the feet, rise up through the crown of the head. And then inhale, sweep the arms to the sky. We'll skip the cactus, just go straight to the forward fold, dive down. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, fold. Bend your knees, bring the hands either to those blocks or to the outside of your feet. And step the left leg way back into a lunge. You want to make sure this front knee stays right over the ankle. And you're on the big toe as well as the heel. Back leg stays lifted, try and press it up. Reaching the heart forward. That's one reason I like the blocks in this. You can really lift the upper body a little bit better. All right, from here, you're gonna drop the back knee down. If you need a blanket under the knee, go ahead and slide it under or double up your mat. Now we're coming to a half split, so sliding back, flexing through that front foot. Bring the toes closer towards you, and then melt your heart down toward the leg, half split. And then from here, come back into your lunge, sliding the hands forward, planting the foot, tuck the toes, lift that back thigh. So you can either bring your hand onto that block or just onto the floor. Left hand down. It's that same motion of opening up like we did earlier. So arm comes out to the side, just straight out from the shoulder. Start to move the belly button toward the right leg and twisting open. And then release that twist. Bring the hands in line with that front foot and step up to your forward fold. Take a half lift, long spine lengthen. Exhale, fold. And then bend your knees, step the right leg way back into that lunge. So I'll show it without the blocks this time. Dropping the hips down but lifting the heart forward. Back knee might want to get saggy, so try and press the back of the knee up toward the sky. And take one more breath here in this lunge. And then go ahead and drop the back knee down. Moving into a half split, so we straighten the front leg. The hip comes over the back knee. Flex through the foot, toes come towards your face. And then just melting the heart down toward that straight front leg. And then finding your way back into your lunge, planting the sole of the foot on the mat. Hands just come right in line with the foot. Sometimes we want to reach forward, but they need to be just right back here. That'll give us the most space. Tuck the back toes, lift the back thigh. And then your right hand stays down on the mat this time. Left arm straight out in line with the shoulder, and then start the rotation low down on the belly. Rotating open. Fingertips reach up toward the sky. Keep that back leg engaged too. I could feel mine starting to sag. And then release, unwind, and then step it up to your forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to go right back to the first side, so bend your knees, step back with the left leg, and using your blocks if you need to, or whatever you're using as blocks. And dropping the back knee, Straighten the leg, half splits. We've been here before. Maybe you can go a little deeper this time, not holding it quite as long. And then come back into your lunge. Tuck the back toes. Finding your twist again. Left hand down, right arm reaches out, and then twisting, opening up. And just one breath here. And then release. All right, from here, we're gonna come to a warrior two. So the back foot spins down, front heel in line with back arch, and we bring the arms up, this front leg stays bent. Warrior two. We'll move with the breath a few times here. Straighten leg, reach the arms to the sky. And exhale, bend your knee, reach the arms out. We want to make sure the knee doesn't extend forward of the toes. If it does, that means you can go wider. So as wide as you can without losing your balance. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, drop it down. One more time like that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, drop it down to your warrior two. Pause there, look over your right fingertips. Okay, and I'm gonna windmill the hands down to the mat. Come onto the toes of the back foot so you're back into your lunge. And then from here, we're gonna step this back foot in a little bit. This is another pose. It's nice to have blocks if you can. You don't need them necessarily. Pyramid pose. So now the foot is flat on the mat and both legs are straight. Try and square the hips toward the front of the mat. Lengthen through the spine. Try and keep that length as you fold. Come back up to your half lift here. Lengthen through that spine. Bring a little bend into that front knee and then just step up to your forward fold. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. We're stepping the right leg back this time, starting with that low lunge. Left knee bent, right leg long behind. And then drop the back knee down, half split, straighten through that front leg. Folding over. And then planting the foot and tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee. Right hand stays on the mat this time. The left arm reaches out. Start the rotation down low in the belly. Move the belly toward the thigh. And that guides the arm to reach up to the sky. And release that hand down. Coming to your warrior two, spin the back heel down to the mat. Toes are coming just slightly forward. Windmill the arms up to the sky. 3 times moving with the breath. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, sink it low. Twice more. And once more, inhale, lift up. Exhale, drop it down. Gazing over your left fingertips this time. And then windmill the hands down to the mat, spin onto the toes of the back foot. We're back in our low lunge. And then finding your pyramid pose. Straightening both legs, flattening both feet. The back foot's turned in a little bit more than it was in warrior two, pointing 45 degrees kind of toward the corner of your mat. Square the hips, left hip back, right hip forward. And then find your half lift, lengthen through the spine. Find a little bend through your left leg, and then just step up to your forward fold. Take a half lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, half lift. Send the fingertips long behind you, reaching long. Little bend in the knees. Inhale, sweep it high, straighten the legs, stand tall. And just release those arms. Okay. All right, let's turn toward the long end of the mat here and step the feet out wide. This time the toes turn out and the heels are in. Start to bend through both legs And so your feet don't have to be way out like a ballerina stance. They can be kind of at an angle. Try and press the knees toward the pinky toe side of the foot and sink your hips down. And this is goddess pose. So we're going to sink the hips down and reach the arms out into cactus. So this can be just kind of a lazy thing with the arms, or you can really get engaged with the upper body. So draw the shoulder blades together on the back. Like you're trying to pinch a pencil between your shoulder blades. And really lift up through the crown of the head. Okay. And then from here, straighten the arms, straighten the legs. Star pose, just reaching out. And then let's turn to the right. So turn the right toes out and the left toes in. So now we're back in that warrior two stance. Except instead of warrior two, we're going to keep both legs straight for triangle pose. So front heel in line with back arch. Triangle, we try and stay in one plane. So we're not leaning forward or back very much, but just reaching to the side. Both legs stay straight. See if you can squeeze this thigh muscle. Lift up your kneecap, engage through the quad. Squeeze that muscle, reach the arms out. And then look over your right fingertips and just start to reach over to the right. Okay, if you get to here and you're really feeling it all kind of dump into the low back, and what I want you to do is come out of it, bring this back hip forward just a little bit, and then reach out. So we're still in one plane, but this top hip doesn't have to be way far back. And then dropping the hand just down to the shin, top arm straight up to the sky. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. And then inhale, lift back up. And release the arms, turning your right toes in. This time, both feet are parallel. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lengthen up, and just hinge forward, wide-legged forward fold. You can release the hands down to the floor or to whatever you're using as blocks. And then inhale, half lift, maybe come up onto those fingertips. Try to lengthen through the spine, engage through the core. Bring your hands to your hips, try and keep all that length through the spine and hinge back up to stand. And we're just going to take that triangle to the other side. So all you need to do from here is just pivot those left toes to the back. Both legs stay straight for triangle. Try and find this muscle right here in the front of the thigh and squeeze that muscle. So if you tend to have sacroiliac issues, this pose can be really challenging. One trick is to let this hip come forward a little bit. So try it out. It doesn't have to be way far back like that. Reach the arms out. Keeping both legs straight, reach long toward the left. And when you've reached about as far as you can, just let the hand come down straight under the shoulder and the top arm goes straight up above the shoulder. Trikonasana on the second side. So you may notice I have my toes totally lifted up. That's partially from a style of yoga I used to practice called forest yoga that always said toes up. But you don't have to lift your toes, but the point is not to grip your toes. Let the toes at least be light. And then inhale, lift up. And release. And step the feet together. Shake out the legs. Okay. Let's come to mountain pose, feet hip distance or big toes together. And reach the arms up. Interlace the fingers, extend the index finger, and side stretch over to the right. If this is a strain for the shoulders, you can always just do one arm at a time. So just like triangle, we're trying to stay in one plane. Notice if one shoulder comes forward, try and draw it back. And then back up through center, lengthen up tall, and then sliding over to the left. And then come back center, and bring the hands down to the heart. Take a moment to pause here, just look inward. Feel the pace of the breath, the pace of the heartbeat, and the state of the mind. And then release the arms, roll out the shoulders. Okay, so we're working into the moon salutation. We've done pretty much all of the poses for it. We're just going to put them together into a little different transition. So the sun salutation starts at the top of the mat and it goes forward and back. The moon salutation starts from the middle and it goes side to side, wide like this. All those poses that we just did, the lunge, the triangle, the pyramid, those are all part of the moon salutation. So, finding your mountain pose in the middle of the mat. Lengthen up tall through the crown of the head. Find your breath. And it starts with that side stretch. So inhale, sweep the arms up. And then release the fingers. We're going to start to the left. So over to the left side. And then come back through center. And then we're not doing the other side. We'll get back to that in a moment. Step out wide and find your goddess pose. So the toes go out, the heels are in. Bend your elbows, bend the knees, sink it low. Okay, all right, from your goddess pose, straighten the legs, reaching high. We're gonna come to triangle pose to the left. So turn your right foot in, your left toes out, keep both legs straight, squeeze up on that thigh muscle and reach out. Dropping the hand down to the shin, top arm straight up to the sky. Okay. So from here, we're gonna move into a pyramid pose. So pyramid, feet are in 2 lanes, and it's a little shorter stance. So just drop your hand down to the hip and step in a little bit, widen the feet side to side, and hinge down into your pyramid. From pyramid, we move into a low lunge. So this back foot is going to step further back, bending into the front knee and lift the heart forward. And then from here, we're going to come to a wide-legged forward fold. You're going to bring both hands on the inside of that front leg and start to walk yourself around into that wide-legged forward fold. It's important here to make sure the feet go straight ahead. They're not turned out like goddess pose. They're parallel. And then folding in. And inhale to half lift. So now what we're going to do is walk over to a low lunge to the other side. So walk over towards your left foot, towards your right foot. The other side, the one you didn't just do, whatever that is. And you're in a low lunge over here, lifting the heart. And then from here, we step up into a pyramid pose. So shorten the stance, straighten the both legs, folding over. So to come into triangle pose from your pyramid, we need to get the feet into one lane again and take it a little wider. So step the foot out, line up front heel with back arch, and then just take your hand to your shin. That same motion that we did earlier of hinging up, let's do that again here. So we just reach that arm out and then open and hinge. Yeah, so we're not going past the midline, but just straight up through center. And then from here, stand up and turn the toes out and the heels in. Goddess pose. Engaging through that upper body, squeezing the shoulder blades onto your back, lifting the heart. And straighten the arms, straighten the legs, star pose, take up some space. And then from here, walk the feet together. You can hop them together or heel toe in. And bring the hands together. And there's that second side with the side stretch. Over to the right. And then inhale back through center. Bring the hands down to the heart. Pause for a moment, check in. And then we're going to take that sequence around the other direction. Same thing, just evening out the different transitions on both sides. Oh, inhale, sweep the arms to the sky. Interlace the fingers. This time we'll start to the right. Side bend. Reaching over. And then inhale back through center. Stepping out wide, goddess pose. Toes out, heels in. Bend the knees, bend the elbows, sink it low. Okay, so from here, straighten the arms, straighten the legs. We're going to move toward triangle pose, toward that side. Bring the toe out, heel in, front heel in line with back arch. And engage through this thigh muscle, squeeze up on the kneecap, reach as far as you can. And when you can't reach anymore, dropping the hand down. Remember, if this all dumps into your low back or your sacrum, let this hip come forward. Let the hip come forward, but keep the shoulder rolling back. From here, we're going to pyramid pose. So we're closing down here. Take the feet into 2 lanes. So step the foot wider, square the hips, and then fold down. Shorter stance front and back, wider stance side to side. And then from our pyramid into our low lunge, you step this back foot way far back. Make sure the front knee stays right over that front ankle. Lifting the heart. Keeping that back knee lifted too. All right, here's our transition to our wide-legged forward fold. Bring both hands on the inside of that front foot and start to walk around, planting both feet. Make sure they're parallel, going straight ahead. And there we are in our wide-legged forward fold, hinging down. The hips go high. See if you can shift the weight forward into the balls of the feet a little bit. Not so much you come up on your toes, but almost. And then inhale, come partway up. And we're going to crawl over to the other side. Turning those toes out, and we're in our low lunge over here. Dropping the hips down, but lifting up through the heart. And from our low lunge, we come to pyramid. Shorten the stance, flatten both feet, straighten both legs. So we're still in 2 lanes like we were in the lunge. And then to take this to triangle pose, we have to line up the front heel with the back arch. So take it a little wider, coming onto that tightrope, and then bring your hand onto your shin. Arm comes straight out from the shoulder and lifting up, rolling that shoulder back, opening the heart toward the sky. From here, inhale, stand tall. Finding our goddess pose again, toes out, heels in, deep bend into the knees, bending into the elbows, dropping down. And then stand tall, reaching up, reach out through those fingertips, star pose. From here, coming into our side stretch, so walk those feet together, maybe just hop them in. And then bring the hands together and side stretch over to the left to finish. And then back through center, and hands come down to the heart. Right, that is our moon salutation. All right, so we're gonna come into not quite the goddess pose, not quite as wide as that, but still feet pretty wide. So earlier we did the squat with the heels up and just the toes down. This time try and keep your heels on the mat as you come down. Maybe you're just here, or maybe you can swing low. And if this pose is not accessible to you, just do your best. Like I said, it doesn't have to be way down low. And we're going to hold this for a couple more breaths. Try and lift the heart up into the thumbs wherever you're at. And then from here, we're going to gracefully plop to the floor. All right. Go ahead and come all the way onto your back. Walking the feet in, bridge pose. Maybe you can touch the very backs of the heels. And just let the arms rest down alongside the body. We'll do a rolling bridge to start. I haven't done many back bends in this sequence, so we'll ease into this. Just find a bit of a pelvic tilt to start. So you're lifting the lower back up off the mat and then pressing it down. If you're not sure how to access that, just try pushing and pulling on the feet and feel how that moves the pelvis, your tailbone anchored on the mat. And then come to the one where your lower back is flattened down toward the mat. Tailbone is tucking toward the heels. Press into the hands and the upper arms and start to lift the tailbone, lift the lower back, the middle back, and come up onto the shoulder blades. And then as you exhale, roll it back down just the same as you came in. One vertebrae at a time. And then inhale, lift it up, start with the tuck, and then lift the tailbone, the lower back, middle back, and then slowly rolling back down one at a time. And one more like that, inhale, rolling it up. Exhale, slowly rolling back down. All right, this time as you come up to your highest point, just roll it up, keep that tailbone reaching toward the backs of the knees, and then just pause there at your highest point. You can either press into the hands, press into the upper arms, or interlace your hands under the back and tuck your shoulders under. Get a little more lift of the heart that way, the chest lifting up toward the chin. Reach your fingers towards your heels. Feel if the knees want to splay out to the sides. Try and keep them right in line with the hips. And then release. Unwind the hands. Roll the spine as slow as you can back down to the mat. And once your tailbone lands, just pause there. And reach your right leg straight up to the sky. So your left leg will stay bent, and you reach maybe for the back of the thigh. If you can reach the shin, the calf, that's great, or maybe the toes. But try and keep your head down on the mat and relaxed. Shoulders too, try and soften the shoulders down. And one more breath there. And then release. Dropping the right foot down to the mat and lifting the left leg to the sky. Hold on to the back of the thigh, or if it's available to you, it's not a strain to get to it, you can reach for the calf, maybe for the toes. Whichever version of this you're in, try and keep that foot flexed so you're pressing the heel up to the sky. more deep breath there. And then release, dropping that foot down to the floor. And bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees drop out to the side. We did lots of hip openers today, so the hips should feel fairly open. But if this is too deep of a stretch, you can take those blocks and slide them underneath the thighs, or a pillow, a blanket. If you'd like to take it a little deeper, reach the arms overhead. Slide the arms back down beside you, gather the knees in, hug the knees into the chest. And then keep your right knee in. You can drop the left foot down to the floor, or you can extend the left leg long. And then go ahead and draw both knees back into the chest. Giving yourself that nice hug. And then left knee stays in. Right leg either foot to the floor or stretching the leg long. And draw your right knee back in, hugging both legs in, and feel free to just stay right here. Maybe rock around side to side, take a happy baby pose, reaching out for the feet, drawing the knees down. And then as you're ready, release, stretching the legs out long into Shavasana. Or if the legs out on the floor like this isn't comfortable for you, maybe slide a pillow under the knees, or just bend your knees and drop them in towards center. Let's find a position that takes no effort through the muscles. And close your eyes. Let's take a moment here to check in with your body and send yourself a bit of love and gratitude. Sending love and gratitude to your body for bringing you through all those shapes today, for moving you around your mat. And for just about the next minute, try and let the mind be clear and the body be still. Nowhere else to be, nothing else to do, not yet. You're just right here and right now. And now draw in a deep, full inhale. Open the mouth, let it go. And start to find some movement through the fingers and toes. And then bend your knees. And roll over onto either side, finding a fetal pose. You can rest your head on your arm. Keep some softness in the head and neck as you slowly press up and find your comfortable seat. Bring hands together at heart center. Bow the chin slightly down to the chest. Lift the heart up. Again, just sending that love and gratitude to yourself. The light in me honors and respects that same light in each and every one of you. Thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. Namaste.